Hi, and welcome to the number one mistake I see agents make with marketing. My name is Dana Zifisek, and I'm a travel agent educator, and I teach agents how I built my business from the ground up, and I teach other agents how to do it step by step. So I'm so happy you're here. I am going to switch us over to the question of the day. Where are you traveling next? Tell me in the comments, okay? Tell me in the comments, where are you traveling next? Ooh. Okay, where are you traveling next? I'm going to share this. Oh, darn it. This thing keeps going off. All right. I am just going to, oh, Shannon is going to Hawaii. That is awesome. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go and make sure everybody is getting this. So tell me if you're just now joining us, tell me in the comments where you are traveling next, okay? I have to post this in all different spots because of how Facebook works. Okay. And we are going to just put this in here. All right. So tell me in the comments where you're traveling. And I will finally have everything up and running. Awesome. Kenya and Rwanda. That's awesome, Helen. That is really cool. I hopefully will be going to Turks and Caicos in a couple weeks. Um, you know, I'm just hoping that everything keeps running smoothly and we don't have any problems with or that the government is back open. That would be great. Our government at Turks and Caicos, they're waiting for us. Okay, so what I want you to think of when you are marketing, all comes down to who is a conversation and who is it that you're talking to. Okay. And I need you to think about your ideal client. Okay. A lot of times when we are making a post or anything, writing an email, we are just typing out information and putting it out there. Okay. Which is fine. And this comes from, you we want people to be specialists. You get better clients, you get better bookings, your business grows faster as a specialist. But when you are, becoming a specialist, you want to consider both what you know and who your market is. Okay? Because you want to consider where your expertise is and then who you can serve. That becomes your ideal client. And when you're doing your marketing, when you are writing social media posts, making reels, making TikToks, what you want to keep in mind is the who you are talking with. Okay, either through the text or through a video. You have to think of your ideal client. Okay, because here's the thing. There are lots of agents out there are lots of ways people can book their vacations, right? They can book them themselves online. They can go to Expedia. They can go to Costco. They can go to any agent that's advertising. Why are they picking you? Okay? And it's the know, like, and trust factor. And that is what marketing is for. It's for building up the know, like, and trust factor with our ideal clients. That is what marketing does. All right. And I want to make sure that you are remembering this, keeping this in mind, because when we are putting stuff out there about our business, it's not just to fill a void. It's not just to say, okay, I posted today. The quality of what you write matters. The quality of your tone matters. Okay. So you have to market to your most ideal client because you want to connect and educate them. You want to add value to their lives. Okay. And when you are not specific in who you are talking to, nobody stops to read it. Okay. So that's why knowing who your audience is, knowing that ideal client gives you a chance at making content that resonates. When you know how when you're post and when you're scrolling and you see something and it's like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to this. Okay. And then you send it to somebody by text or something like that because it's like, oh, this is great. Right. Well, that's what you want for your content. You want people to say, oh, look at this. This is perfect. And you want them to be tagging people and you want them to be sharing it because you want it to resonate. Okay. The way things resonate is understanding who's going to be watching it or who's going to be reading it. And for us, we go one step further and we think of who is our ideal client? What questions do they have? What's going to speak to them? And that's hard. That's not easy because here's the thing. They are in this like bombardment at all times of likes and comments and posts and things like that. So what is going to stand out? The way to stand out is to be specific to who you want to book. Okay. And that means thinking like them. That means, I don't want to say addressing them, but being specific in who you want to work with and putting it out there in that way. And sometimes you might think, well, won't that mean that I'll weed out other people? Like other people won't want to book with me. Not really, because what happens is if you are speaking to your ideal client, that's who you want to book with the most. Okay. That is who you want to work with. That is who you are trying to connect with through your social media. The problem that comes with speaking to the masses is that the masses just scroll on by. Okay. And what you want to do is you want that most ideal client to stop their scroll and read what you have to say. And then maybe even react or share it. That's how this know, like, and trust factor builds up. Okay. So you're more likely to get somebody to stop and look at your post if it's specific, not general. Okay. All right. So because here's the thing, the algorithm, let's talk about this algorithm that everybody likes to complain about. The algorithm's job is to keep us scrolling. Okay. That's what its job is. It wants us to stay on whatever platform we're on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They just want content. They want people to be they want accounts putting out content that people want to watch, okay, or read. The more people who watch or read your content, the more people they're going to show it to, okay? So you want people who are going to resonate with your content. It's going to be more specific, but that's okay because then the algorithm's going to say, this is resonating with these people. We're going to show it to more of these people. Okay. So by being specific to your audience, you're going with the algorithm's trend. Because what happens if your posts are general, okay? Book with me, I can make it easier. I can make travel easier for you. Nobody's going to stop and read that. They're not going to resonate. It's not going to resonate with them. Like, okay, yeah, thanks, but I'm good. But if you're making content that speaks to them, it makes a difference. So let me show you some of my own examples. Okay. So I posted this one yesterday. Now, I have to tell you something about me and my business. I have celiac disease, and so does my son. And so we have to eat gluten-free. All right. So my experience is going to be a lot with having to eat gluten-free in destination. Okay. So one of my ideal audiences is other gluten-free travelers who they can learn from my experiences and it resonates. Okay. So this is the post I did yesterday. And you want to know how I got inspired to do this because one of my clients asked me about this. Okay. So by knowing that this is something my client is thinking about, oh, other people who might be my ideal clients might also benefit from this too. And it took off in my gluten-free travel group. Now you have to understand, so Dana Zivizek Travel is my creator profile. So from there, that's what I post as a travel agent. My travel agent educator profile, which is what I'm on now, is a business profile. You can only have one business I wish I could make another creator account for my educator stuff, but I can't figure it out. So anywho, but I'm teaching right now on my educator post. I have my account. This account that I'm screenshot from is for my travel business. With that account, I then post into different groups. Now, I have a couple of groups, Facebook groups, that are travel specific, and they're gluten-free travel specific. So when I post this, I also post it into my gluten-free travel group, my Disney gluten-free travel group. And then I also have, Disney tips and that kind of stuff kind of a group. So this goes in all different places. But I'm speaking to somebody who is, so my broader ideal audience is parents with kids that are, they know that it's going to be a long day at Disney, and what is something they can do to ease their pain of being in crowds of people. Okay. So that was my first hook. And then since this was gluten-free, I added the PS. They even have gluten-free platters on request. Make sure you pick the seats and suites version of the dessert party when making your dining reservations, or else you'll still be standing. But this did well because it spoke specifically to my ideal audience. Okay. And, it resonated because also I was playing off of my gluten-free people. Okay, here's another gluten-free one again. But find what works for you. Find where your specialty is. Find where you bring most value, and that's what will naturally do better for you. Okay? So, this one I wrote directly for people with celiac or with gluten who need to eat gluten-free, because it is exhausting having to explain to people while everywhere, can you change gloves for a gluten allergy? And I know celiac isn't an allergy, but it's just easier that way. It's sometimes easier just to explain things as an allergy, so that way they do the right protocols. Because basically, a little teeny tiny crumb of anything that has gluten in it will put me out of commission, will ruin my whole immune system, and then I have to reset. I'm sick for a while. And if it keeps going on, what happens is your body, gets a lot of there's poor health consequences. But my immediate reaction is I'm out of commission for at least a week. I don't need that in my life. Okay. I'm busy. So, and I definitely don't want it when I'm traveling. So I say, if you're looking for vacation destinations where you don't have to cook every meal yourself or constantly explain safe, gluten-free food preparation at restaurants, you're in the right place. Okay? Because I want people to know that I see them, and I see that struggle, because when you are, and of course I love traveling. I'm a travel agent, but this summer we did a lot of travel that was city focused, which was great. It was great discovering new cities, but always having to explain, having to do the research. Do you guys have protocols? Can I eat here? Because, you don't want to have to be, sometimes people don't want to cook all on vacation. Okay. And that's how, I don't like to travel that way. I like to be able to experience food, culture, that kind of thing. But there's also destinations where they have great protocols, and those are the places I go the most. So I encourage people to follow along with me. And I've gotten a lot of followers this week since I've posted that. Okay. Again, speaking specifically to that traveler. Okay. And specific with the problem that they're having. And then this one is just really for moms. Everyone else just uses a concierge lamb while at the hotel. I'm making the most of the free upgrade by stocking our rental car with drinks and snacks. Okay. And that was just a funny one, a relatable one. And who am I speaking to? Well, I'm speaking to my own personal experience, but I'm speaking to others as a mom who knows that, we're driving from here to here. If I have this little refrigerator here that I can take these things from and I won't have to stop on my way to the next town, that's really great. I'm going to take as much as I can carry. And I even had stuff in my pockets. My son, who took this picture, was mortified. It's okay. He appreciated the fact that I got him 2 stories out of that. They were, out of that refrigerator. Okay. But again, speaking to who you want your posts to be fun and inviting, and you also want them to be relatable. Okay. So what will speak to your ideal client? Okay. You have to think of who they are and what's going to speak to them. And then on Thursday, I want you to come back here. All right. On Thursday, we're going to talk about how to brainstorm content for that ideal client. Okay. So first, I want you to think of who that ideal client is. Okay. And you can have different ones. Like notice I said I had moms, I had gluten-free parents. I have different little bubbles that I look into. Okay. And you can make a variety, but you want to be speaking to someone specifically in order for the content to do well. All right. So what will speak to your ideal client? And then on Thursday at 1:00, we're going to talk about that, how to brainstorm. So make sure you're following along on the calendar. I'm going to add in the calendar link. Okay. I want you to, if you aren't already, I have a calendar. I'm just getting the link for you that you'll get all of these sessions, because I'm going to be doing these all through October into the beginning of November for fall into sales. Okay. And I love anything that's corny. So if I think of a corny name, I'm going to go with it. So, and if you want to get the, reminder, and it has the links to the sessions. And as I add more, so right now it's just this week on the calendar, but as, each week I'll add in when I'm going to go live. And I have a preliminary schedule, but with the way life has been, I want to make sure that, I am not I'm not, what's it called? I want to try to not have to make changes to the schedule. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully, because I have just learned that I try to make a whole schedule ahead of time, and then just life happens. So I'm trying to do it by the week now. So that way, because I have them all written down here when they're going to be in my notebook. But so anywho, so if you go to this little link, here, I'll go to it so that you can see it. I'm going to pull it over into here. Okay. So, and then you will just click. It looks like you already have subscribed to this. Yes, I have. Okay. You'll just put your name and email. And then when you do that, so I'm just going to put a different email in because I just wanted to get, it might let me go through. I want to show you then what you can do. Yeah. And then when you do that, so it's like, yeah, you might have already subscribed. I know I did. Okay, then you can add it to any of your calendars that you use, whichever calendar you use. So that way you can see, oh, Dana's going live today. And as I add sessions, they'll automatically be added in. So right now it's just October 16th, which is Thursday. And I can add that to my calendar too. But you can also just follow the whole calendar and then they'll automatically be updated. Okay, so go ahead and go to that link. I have it in the comments section. So that way you can not miss any of these fall into sales sessions because they're all going to go into each other. Like today we talked about ideal client. Now on Thursday, we're going to talk about how to brainstorm content for that ideal client. So I will see you then. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye-bye.